Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I hope you are enjoying the MCP tutorial step by step that we are having, and our last section was dealing with the tools in deep dive. So today our purpose is to deal another thing like it's called resource under MCP. So tools is covered, we have covered. Now we are going for the resources. What are the resources and what does it mean, and how can I work with the resources in the MCP server? That's the target over here. Okay. Now let me go to the browser sections, and if you come down to this particular URL where you will see that what are the resources. As for the MCP, resources allow us to share data, provide context to the language model. Okay, so that means it will provide some kind of context to the language model LLMs, such as files, database schemas, application specific informations. Now the key point is that each resources is uniquely identified by URL. Okay, so if you want to expose your context, 90% of your can be doable by your tools. There are few cases where you want to explore around resources and prompts. So these resources actually will have a URL. If you remember, tools does not have any kind of URL, and but in the case of resources, we should be having a URL. We'll see that how the things will work over here. Now if you come down over here, you will see an example of a resource. Okay, so how the resources work on MCP, you see how I going to configure that. It's very easy actually. Instead of mcp.tools, that decorator, we are using the mcp.resource decorator over here. Okay, and this is the URL, or this is the path that we are calling out to get the resources. So this particular MCP function, what does it returns? It returns a file if you specify a particular name. So it is accepting a parameter. So your resources and resource template. So if you consider resource, actually, resource will not have any kind of parameter into it. Okay, it's a simple URL. You see, so these are all simple URL, target URL, but it is not dynamic in nature. If you know parameter, so parameter are dynamically, we can assign to the parameter what value we want to pass. Okay, so that is where your resource template will come handy over here. Okay, now it can return, the resource can return text content, binary contents. Okay, those kind of contents can be returned by a resource. Now, what is the URL? URL could be like that: HTTPS, files, Git, this kind of URL. So let's jump into our code base to see this thing in action. Now, if I come down over here, and this is a simple customer.py file. Okay, it's customer.python file. Now, if I can make it a large little bit, okay, here you are. You will see that MCP resources customer management. Okay, few imports and for MCP server first API, you already know these things. Now we are creating our MCP server over here. Now here we are stimulating a database fetch operations. Okay, so we have three collections. One is called this data, one is called this order data, one is called this inventory data. Okay, and if you come down over here, the data content customer ID 123, few names arbitrary, and few email address over here. So that's the collection. Now in the order has this order ID, customer ID, and it can be mapped back to this customer ID. Okay, product ID and quantity. And in the inventory, we have the same product ID, product name, and stock. So you can say this is a simple three table configurations over here, and is joined by its keys. So customer ID here is joined by this order date and customer ID, and order ID and product ID is going to be joined in the product data of the inventory. Okay, so these are the three simple collection over here, stimulating our database operation. Now let us go to our first method. So get customer list. Okay, so you see this URI is not containing any kind of parameter. Okay, so that means it's a resource, not a resource template. Okay, now what does it return? It return the fetch customer information from the database. Okay, and return the JSON string contain the customer data. The method is get customer list. So one thing to remember, so we are decorating, as I told you, we are decorating this thing as a MCP resource. Okay. And you can specify a custom name over here also if you want to as a parameter to this resource. Okay. This line is very important. And after that, we need to have a very good doc string. And that we have seen in the case of tools also, that we need to clearly define our doc string, what the function does, what is the capability, so that the LLM can understand whether it is allowing us or requesting the agents to execute this particular function or not. So the doc string here is very, very important. Okay. Now it is just returning all the customer lists from here. Now if you go down to this particular function, you will see that this has become customer, get customer by ID, customer ID. So we are passing here, you see in the curly braces, we are passing the customer ID as a parameter. Oh, so it's a dynamic in nature. If I send customer ID 1, it will fetch the value of customer ID 1. And also if I pass 2, if I pass 3, continually it will fetch the data for the particular customer ID that I am supplying in this particular function. Get customer by ID. So it is a resource template. It is not a resource. So resource will not have any kind of parameter. Resource template, you should have a parameter. Okay. Provisional parameter, I should say that way. Now, if you come down over here, there are a few other functions like, get order by customer ID. What does it does? Fetch order data of a particular customer ID. This is the arguments and this is the return value of that. Okay. Now, let's visit another two function over here. What is get inventory? It return all the inventory information and it does not have any parameter. So it is a resource, not the resource template. Okay. Now, get order list is the same, like, it returns all the order list from the order collection. Now we are running this MCP server over here, MCP run transport mechanism stereo. Okay. Now let us go to the terminal and try to work on this, and let's see, how MCP inspector behave on this. Now, if you type MCP dev, that is customer.py. Let's wait for it. If you remember, it will open up the MCP inspector for us, just to test all the things, whether it is working as per the expectations or not, before jumping into any other MCP client host configurations. Now you see that, this command has come up. So it is using the protocol stereo, and let us try to connect it. Well, it's get connected. Okay. Now just look at these things. We are not touching this tool portion anymore. We are going for the resource. Okay. Under the resource, we have resources and resource template that I told you, right? If you do not have any kind of parameter, that become your resource. If you have parameter provisioning, then it become your resource template. Now click on this list resources. So if you remember, get customer list, get inventory, get order list. If you visit over here, so this is the get inventory, do not have any parameter. Okay. Get customer, leave it. Okay. It's a parameter. So now you will see that if I go to the top, okay. Now here you will see that, get customer list does not have any kind of parameter. So it become a resource. So this is what is being shown over here. Okay. Now, if you execute any of this, like, get customer list, if you click down over here, you will see that, what does it return? Return a JSON over here and containing all the customer information along it, like, customer ID 1, customer ID 2, customer ID 3. Okay. Same as for get inventory, same as for get order list. Nothing fancy over here. Now, if you go down over here in the resource template and try to see the template, what does the template contain? You will see that, we have two templates, resource template over here. One is called get customer by ID, get order by customer ID. Okay. Now, if you click down over here, it needs a customer ID. I need to supply it. Let me supply the customer ID 2 from here and read resources. You see, get customer by ID. It return me the particular customer data by the ID 2. Now, if I click down over here, get order by customer ID, and if I put the customer ID 3, let's say, read resources, you will see that the order information for the particular customer. Okay, so order ID is this, customer ID is this, product ID is, quantity is this. Okay, so that is the return type of get order by customer ID. So I hope the difference between resource and resource template is pretty clear to you. That just one more time I'm repeating the same. Resource is something where you do not have any kind of parameter provisioning. Resource template is similar, only we have the provision of passing a parameter. That's the key difference over here between a resource and resource template. Okay. Now, unfortunately, Claude, if I open up the, let's configure the Claude one more time. So if I come down over here, I press a Console C, I'm terminating the job. And if I try to MCP, if you remember how to configure Claude, MCP, it should not be dev, it should be install. Okay. It should configure my Claude desktop. Claude desktop, if you remember, it's a MCP client host combination where we can test the things from offered for the MCP server by our own client. It's called Cloud Desktop. Now, if you run this, you will, and if you come down about Cloud Desktop configuration, and if you don't know where to find the Cloud Desktop configuration, I would advise to go for the playlist that we are publishing over here in this channel. You will see that we have started from the scratch actually, and a lot of information is available in the previous videos. Okay, so this is the Cloud Desktop. We have configured the Cloud Desktop, and it is taking the value from this customer.py as a MCP server. Now, if you we have the similar observation for the tools section, but that time Claude really picks up the tools. But let's see what it does for the resources. Let it be open up. Okay. Now you see that if I come down over here, you see that customer is disabled, right? Although you configure correctly. Why it is? Because the reason behind is that when Anthropic developed this Cloud Desktop, actually, they does not give you the provision for resource template. Means if you are defining a resource template that as a parameter can be passed as a dynamic value, Claude does not work on this. So we have a blocker over here. We cannot execute these things by Cloud Desktop anymore. Okay, but we have another thing to work on. So let me go to my VS Studio first. Now, if you click over here, what is it? Okay. Clean. Okay. If you open this up, so it is another, MCP client host configuration that is freely available in the marketplace of Visual Studio. You can install it as an extension of that, and only you need to configure it with the API key of your choice. So for me, I have using OpenAI. I put down my OpenAI key over here. If you click down over here, you will see a lot of model provided out here. It's not stuck with OpenAI. You can use DeepSeek, you can Claude, GCP, whatever you want to, Google Gemini, whatever you like to do, you can use it from this particular drop down. Only you need to provide, even use Light LLM, Olama can be used. So Olama is running on my local actually. If you want to explore an Olama, that's the best way to do it, like running LLM in the local environment. So you can configure it that way. Okay. Now, let me close down this section. Now, if I go down over here, let me, I have not changed, right? Okay, yeah. So now here you will see that if you click down over here, MCP server, okay, so remote servers, install servers, okay, so it is already getting installed. Okay, okay. Now if I click on over here and ask Clean about a simple thing like um, give me a list of the customer. If this is my question, let's see how it behaves. Which is going for the our OpenAI model, providing the information to it. And now by LLM has requested to execute this particular tool to get the answer. Oh, sorry, it's not tool, rather resource from the MCP server to get the answer. So should I approve? Yeah, I'm going to approve it. Now you see the response has come up. Okay. Now this tool's response is going for the LLM, and LLM is transferring that thing to a human readable answer. So here is a list of the customer. So we wanted a list of the customer, right? Now, can we explore our inventory in the same way? Let's see. Our question is, what is in my inventory? Let's see. Okay. It is requesting us to approve the get inventory list resource over here. We are going to approve it. It's fetched the inventory data. It is passing back to the LLM. Now the LLM is providing you the answer in the green, text. Now, let us take a very complicated task in our hand, okay? Because it's a logical, I should not say complicated, but a very logical thing to understand first, okay? Now, if I calm down over here and if you go to my customer, we will go to customer.py, you will see that, what is the relationship? Data is having customer ID, it's containing all the customer data. Order data is associated with this customer data by what? Customer ID. Now, this customer ID, order ID, and here is the product ID. Product ID goes back to my inventory to feed the product. Now, if I ask a question that, keep the detail of the customer who has maximum purchase. Okay, means I want to find out a customer who has, purchased maximum quantity from us. Now, the question here is that it can go in two directions. First, it can go for this customer. Okay. Fetch, let's say customer ID 1, go for the order, go for the inventory, go for the order to get down the list. Then it can go for 2, it can go for 3. And then it can compare back. That's a dumb way to do it. The best way to do it is that, you need to understand where the quantity lies. It's over here, order quantity. So it should start with the order quantity and it pick up the value of 30. Then it move back to the customer ID and product ID, fills the along information with that and give us a list. Okay. That should be a best way to do it. But let's see how LLM resolve this actually. Okay. Now let us apply our question. Give the detail of the customer who has the maximum purchase. Okay. Now let us see what LLM actually does. Is it smart enough to pick it up or is it a dumb enough for the longer route? Let's see. It is asking for the API request. Okay. See, it is working smart. Its first target is that, get order list. So obviously this is our get order list, which will return the order of each customer. Then it will compare, then it will fetch the customer data. So it is acting very smartly. You see, it's pick up the order data. Now let's see what it is requesting. Okay, now you see it is getting the customer by the ID of 3. Why? Because it has seen that, in this order information, order data out here. Okay, so customer ID 3 has the maximum order of quantity 30. So that is what is written over here. Okay. So now it know that, customer ID 3 has maximum order in its bucket. Okay. Now it is asking us to allow to get more information around this particular customer. So we are going to approve it. Now the LLM has all the information. It executed two resources. One is the resource, one is the resource template, and it is giving us the answer back. You see, the customer with the maximum purchase is customer ID 3, name Charlie, email ID is blah blah blah. Okay. So the LLM was smart enough. If you are providing many resources, many tools. They are smart enough to find out the first way to get the result. So this is on the resource, how we are going to, deal with the resources of MCP. I hope, this is clear enough. But still, if you have any question, any concern, any remarks, just put in the comment box of the YouTube video. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next episode of this series.